Okay, so we're gonna work with 3 sets now. Okay, you know which page we're on, right? 23. We don't go more than 3 sets, even though it could be, but in this course we stick with, that's the highest we will go, 3 different sets. Before I start, honestly, if I were you, I would have one of these on my study sheet with the notation and everything. 3 sets. This is going to be the most important one again. Finding the center is going to be crucial to solving the puzzle. Okay? And it used to be just 2 sets, right, with the and. Now you've got the 3 sets, A, B, C, and those letters will change all the time. Okay? 23. Okay? So, A and B. You still have these at play here. Set A and B. I'm going to use green on that one. So, when I put it outside, but it is referring to this section right here. That's A and B right there. And then you just go around. This intersection here is between sets A and C. And you use a different color of your choice. I'm going to use orange. So it's referring to that intersection. You come over to this side and it's B and C or C and B, it doesn't matter. What other color am I going to use? Where's my regular highlighter? Here it is. Those are your 3 ands, okay? It's just that section there. And here it gets a little trickier, okay? How many sections are there in this Venn diagram, folks? Look up here, please. Right, if you go all around, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just inside those 3 circles, if you split them all up, it's 7 different unique parts. Okay? So to this part right here, it would be B and C, but not what? Not A. I know. You're gonna have to get used to that. Okay. This section right here is going to be referred to as A and C, but not B. And then just go around. This one is A and B, but not C. Having fun yet? Right? So I'll just keep it at that for now. What would the outliers, what notation would I use for outliers? It used to be A or B, correct? But now we have a third set, A or B or C, and just put a big bar on top or a little tick. Either one of them works for the knots. You know what? I forgot to, right? When I highlighted this intersection, that's what this refers to. Orange refers to that part right there. Okay. I won't do every single section here, but I'll just take this one for example. A and C, but not B. This is what the question could say. Or it's basically saying elements in A and B, sorry, A and C, thank you. A and C, but not B. That's what that is saying. Okay, so I'm going to actually use this color and just, no, I won't use the orange because that's just A and C. So I'm not going to give this a color, but I hope you can somehow relate that. I have one more highlighter, blue, so I'm going to use that one if you have a fourth one. And so you can kind of just use this reasoning to refer to these sections right there. It can also mean elements in A and C, and here's that other one, only. It's very similar to the two-set notation. It's just a little bit more going on. Is there something else? I'll put numbers. I'll use numbers for this because the notation gets very ugly. I'll just call this 1, 2, 3. And I'll just say that regions 1, 2, and 3 refer to elements in only A, B, or C. And now pi gets a little uglier. If I were to apply the principle of inclusion and exclusion, watch what it turns out. It's this beast right here. And I would strongly suggest you have this on your study sheet. I won't give you the 3 different versions here. I'm just going to stick with the one that I use whenever needed. Watch this. I'm going to show you that, for example, A and C is right here. So I'm going to use that color here to show you it's this region there. B and C is right here. A and B, it's right here. And the pink, the center right here, notice what's happening to it at the very end. I add that. So first I'm going to highlight, then I'm going to explain it. So it's saying the union of all of them, right? If you wanted all the elements in those 3 sets up there, you've got to add each A, B, C. So that would be these numbers out here that you come up with. Every circle has a number out there. So you would add them all up. But then you have to subtract all the intersections or else you're double counting. So you have to take away this intersection, and this intersection. But now you've removed that completely, the center. So that's why at the end we add the center to it. So that makes this one very unique, the 3 sets. Okay? When dealing with word problems, we will be given partial information. Often it is useful to use pi. Okay, so I'll just do that. It's useful to use pi to answer the questions at hand. One more thing, because I'm assuming you're gonna add this to your study sheet. I will say that remember still this part here. If possible, you will go NU minus outliers. You always want to get rid of outliers if they are present, to come up with this number, okay? Because we're only dealing what's inside the sets that have been created inside the universal. So make sure you add that in. And now this is brand new, the page 24, because I can't tell you that every scenario is the same. I cannot guarantee that to you. So I've just kind of broke it down into some scenarios. So come with me to 24. Here you go. Here are some scenarios to consider, but there could be more. Okay, that's my disclaimer. The easiest scenario is middle is given, just move out. Okay? Easiest case. If the center is given, that's why there's a check mark. Then you're laughing. Then it's going to be usually just move out and figure out the other regions as you continue. Okay? But then you've got the harder cases. This one right here, where the middle is unknown, but then you've got some variations of it. Okay? So you've got the middle is unknown here. You don't know what it is. Here you also don't know what it is. And the last one, you also don't know what it is. So the question will not say students like all three types of pizzas or people use all three services. You just won't know that. Okay? However, if you are given, for example, sometimes they will tell you the ands, right? People that like B and C as 5. Make sure you don't put the 5 in here. Okay? Don't put the 5 in there. You'll put it out here, and you'll just have an arrow pointing to it. Okay? To that intersection. So that's telling you all of that. Do not put it in there. You'll get it wrong. Okay? Sometimes you will be given, I guess the middle is still unknown, but they will give you these numbers in there, the onlys. Okay? Then we're going to figure out what the intersection is. Well, it's x plus 5, right? If you want this whole intersection, you got to add it like this. So it'll be this scenario here. And maybe I'll just briefly go over this, do a few questions, then come back to this again tomorrow to review this one more time. Okay. Another scenario is where they may give you the onlys, but they give you the and, the intersection. So then you have this 7 out here. You're going to have to figure out what this is with the information. So it's very important to know where to put the information. That is what it comes down to. And so maybe this will be more helpful later on, not right away. So we'll go and solve one question, page 25, and see how that goes. And then I'll ask you to try those. Okay? Example 1. Rachel surveyed grade 12 students about how they communicated with friends over the previous week. Below are the results. It says here, use a Venn diagram to justify your answers. Okay, so that's not even a question. So, what does it say? 66% called on a cell phone, 76% texted, 34 used a social network site, and then it keeps going. 56 called on a cell phone and texted, so notice that word and, that should tell you something. 18% use a cell phone and social networking. 90% texted and use social networking. And this is your favorite, if the middle is given. 12% used all three forms of communication. That is the center, the middle. This is, let's give these letters, okay? Cell phone would be what? I would use C, yeah. N of C is 66%. N of T for texting, right? N of social networking, I'm going to go S, is 34. Okay. What notation would we use for this one here? Called, cell phone, and texted? That would be C and T, right? That's 56%. Cell phone and social media? Cell phone and social media? That's 18%. 19 texted and used social networking site? That's 19%. And last but not least is the middle, all three forms. So I'm going to go C and T and S. It doesn't really matter what order you do that in. but we know that that is 12%. Okay, let's try our Venn diagram. Is it going to fit right next to it? No, I don't think so. We'll do it underneath here. So in that case, you need to make 3 circles. Don't forget your box around it. I would say the universal is probably the first one you should start with. What would the universal be in this case? 100%. If it's percentage, folks, they don't need to tell you what the universal is. It's 100%. It's all the people that were involved. Okay, so you just go and, so I'll make a note here. No universal given, but percentage tells us it has to be 100%. Okay. So we have our cell phone, our texting, social networking. Can we put these numbers outside here? Absolutely, because there's no onlys, there's nothing like that. It's just, so 66%. Texting would be 76. Social networking, 34%. Perfect. Copy this down. And now we need the ands, right? It says 56 are between C and T. So C and T is here. So they're talking about this wedge here. Do not put it in here. You put it out there. This is the and, the intersection. So we're just going to go arrow like this. C and S is right here. So we're going to put that over there. That's 18%. And texting and social networking, that would be 19%. Alrighty. And the 12%, which we really like, is the middle here. I'm going to put that in there, 12%. And then I don't know if you want to do the same, use a different color to fill in what you figured out later on. Okay, here you go. And you might want to have a calculator ready. But to figure out this part right here, what would you have to do? You know that this whole thing is 56, correct? Take away the 12, and then you are left with that. So 56 minus 12. That would be 44%. You don't need to do this necessarily when it's a test or whatever, but for now I would definitely have that in there. Then you go over here. This would be 19 minus 12. And that's 7. This would be 18 minus 12. And that's 6%. Is that too small or what? Here, let me zoom in. Okay. So every time you took the ands, the intersections, knowing that the whole intersection is 56, you took away the center to come up with the only, right? So we had to subtract in this case. And check, right? These two do add up to 19. These two add up to 18. These two add up to 56, so you know you're doing something right. And now move out even further. We're going to figure out people that only, what is C again? Use the cell phone. They called on a cell phone. That'd be this region right here. So we go 66 minus, there's several ways of doing this. You can just go 44, 12, and 6. Just subtract these 3. Or you can go minus 56, right, which is this whole thing, and minus 6. It saves you some time. So minus 56 and 6. Okay, that would be 4% called on a cell phone only. Okay. And you move over here. 76 minus. I will again take away the 56, but I will also take away the 7. And that gives you 13%. And last but not least, this one, 34 minus, you choose which and you want to take away first. If you take away the 18, then basically you got rid of that, and then all that is left is taking away the 7. Okay, and so you're left with 9%. And just when you thought you were done, you need to ask yourself, are there outliers? You need to check. Okay. Check outliers. So how do you go about it? I'll go, 100. And it's actually not that bad, folks. Watch this. If you were to take 66%, like that's that circle where my thumb is on, right? This whole thing is 66. So I'm going to take away 66, right? And I'm going to take away 13, 7, and 9 as well. Like these other regions that still remain. Minus 13, minus 7, minus 9. Okay? And you end up with 5%. So this is 5%. 5%, I guess, used neither. Like they didn't use any of the services. Okay. And sometimes you won't catch it until I ask you a question. Hey, how many students did not use any of those services? That's when you're going to figure out, oh, I need to figure out my outliers. Okay. So now let's answer the questions, and then I'll let you do some work. Oh, we're almost out of time though. So I'll just stick with this type today. A, what percent of students used at least one of the 3 forms of communication? This is important. I'm going to highlight that one. Because the students often do not know what to do when it says the word at least one. So it's basically saying find the union of all of them. Find the union of all of them. So it's asking for N of C union T union S. What's the best way to find that? Take 100% and subtract 5, right? Because these are the folks that aren't. So 95% of students. I'm zoomed in so much that you can't see anything. There you go. 95% of students. B. What percent of students texted and used social networking site but did not use a cell phone? Let's translate that. They texted and used social networking but did not, hold on, did not use a cell phone. I got it. Tricky. Which region is this asking for? Texting and, right? So texting and social networking, but not cell phone. So it's just asking for that 7% here. That's the region we're talking about. That'd be 7% of students. C. What percent of students used a cell phone and a social networking but did not text? So cell phone, social networking, but did not text. That's asking for this region right here, which is the 6%. And I'm using the proper notation so you get used to both. I wouldn't require it unless explicitly stated. I wouldn't require you to write this. But I think it's good for you to know if I ask you for the proper notation to do so. D. What percent of students only used a cell phone, only texted, or only used social networking? It is asking for, watch up here, it's asking for only social networking, only texting, and only cell phone. It's asking for those three numbers combined. Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna have those numbers show up because the notation, to be honest right now, I'm not even sure if I know how to do that. So that would add up to 27. 20% of students. E. How would you do E? E is asking 4% of students that called on a cell phone or used a social networking site. Sorry, you can't see that. The or is key here. That is very, very important. That is literally asking for this. Number of students that used a cell phone or social networking site. I would like to use a color for that. I think I'm going to use orange. Orange, you're glad it's almost over, right? CUS. That is combining C and S. That's what's happening there. It wants all the students that are in that combination. That union. That's what we call it. Okay. So it's simply going 66%. So all of this, that is 66, we know it. We don't have to add up every individual little number. So just go 66 plus 7 plus 9. Okay. So 66% plus 7 plus 9. Okay. I'll stop there or else you'll kick me out of my own class probably. Enough is enough, right? This is your homework. You need to try it. Page 26 to 24. 3 questions, sorry, to 27. There are 3 questions that are like this. So I want you to try at least 2 out of the 3. Okay? I will post the answer key. And tomorrow we'll do different types. Thank you for letting me know. This is not 27, but 26 here, folks. 4, 13, and 9 is 26. Did I copy the numbers wrong? 4, 9, and 13. No, that's right. So 26%. Sorry, my bad. 1%, Mr. Dirksen. What is that, right?